once I thought I died. But hello, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for coming and clicking on my channel. Here on this YouTube channel, we talk about things regarding your mind, because I believe that if you have a healthy mind, you will have a healthy life, because if there's something wrong out here, there is something wrong in here. Okay, so today I'm going to give you a little bit more background on myself and how I got here. I want to tell you more of my story, how I got spiritually awake. Disclaimer, I am not pro-drug. I do not want to make this video and make it seem like I'm advising you to go out and repeat the same mistakes that I did. I wouldn't call them mistakes, because I don't believe there are any mistakes in the universe. I believe that it is what it is, and negative and positive is just an energy. It has nothing to do with the judgment that comes behind it. We put the judgment behind it because we seem to really enjoy surviving in positive feelings, because that means that we're not going to die. But with that being said, I am not here to glorify drug use at all. Okay? This is not for children. If you're a child, please get off. Go, mom. Where's your mom? Mama, if you're watching, you hear me? Tell your kid to turn this off. I think that's all I could do on my part. I'm going to start off by me being born into this world. I was definitely raised with the belief that there was something around us. My mom considers herself a Catholic, but I don't really, like, we never went to church. We never did anything that a regular schmegular Catholic would ever do. I was also around people who did Santeria. I'm not really sure how to say that in English. It's definitely a Hispanic thing. There's definitely a lot of people that practice this in Cuba. And so I did grow up around, like, my mom going to see these guys that practice this with these specific gods, and they make sacrifices, and like they kill chicken and chicken blood, and they tell you what you can and can't eat. If you want to be one of those people, you literally have to wear white for an entire year. You can't look in the mirror. It's just really intense. Like, their rituals are super, super, super intense. As I was growing up, I didn't really think about any of that until I realized that we were all gonna die. I was super young. I had to have been 4 years old or 5 years old. And I don't really know what happened that triggered these thoughts inside of me, but I remember I was in my dad's truck and I just started sobbing. I was thinking about how my mom and dad were gonna leave me one day and I was gonna be here. And then I realized that I was gonna die as well. And that thought drove me crazy, because then I started thinking about what happens when you die? What is it? I got really obsessed with the idea. I would think about it nonstop. Dude, what is on the other side? Like, what do you mean? I would spend hours. I was an only child. So today I will never get bored. Like, if you leave me in my house for 2 months, 3 months, I always find something to do. I pretty much became obsessed with the idea. I came to the conclusion that it was nothing, and that there was pure blackness. And that's what it was. It was nothingness to me, absence, no life. And then I got obsessed with the fact that, what is nothing? What is that? That is like, nothing is nothing, but what does nothing consist of? Is it black? Is it white? Is it like, how does no color exist? There has to be a color. It was just weird to me. I couldn't wrap my head around it. But yeah, pretty much after that, I thought about nothing a lot. I thought about what that meant to me a lot. When I was 11 years old, I was definitely atheist. I think as I was growing up and people would ask my religion, when I was in dance class or when I was in this, people would ask me, I'd switch from Christianity to being Catholic because I felt that I needed to fit in and that I was weird if I didn't relate to these religions. I remember I was at a church once. It felt weird to me. I didn't understand what was going on. It was very culty-like. I was like, why are all these people following this? Like, it was just very confusing to me, coming from the perspective that, like, I literally thought that when we died, it was just nothing. There was nothing on the other side. I could not wrap my head around churches. It was very bizarre to me. This is just my story. This is intended to share and to give you a little bit more of background on me and who I am and where I'm coming from. It's not meant to offend anybody or anybody's journey. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. As I am entitled to mine, you are entitled to yours. Anyways, after I would lie, like a couple times that I lied, because this question came up often, honestly, what religion I was. I didn't know, so I would lie. But then one day I asked my mom, like, hey, like, what religion are we? And she's like, we're Catholic. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm Catholic, whatever. And then I finally got to 6th grade, so 11 years old, and it just didn't resonate to me. And there came a point in time where that's around the age that I stopped caring what other kids thought about me. I came out as atheist. I was atheist up until I started doing psychedelics. When I became 17 years old, I don't know, somewhere in 11th grade, junior year, I got introduced to some type of pills, and then I started abusing the pills. They're like literally CVS heart pills that you can, like, I could have been dead. I just really craved numbing myself, and I found peace in being, like, it was unlike any other feeling that I have ever felt before. And this is kind of rough to talk about openly, because I'm sharing my story to help people or to help someone and to let somebody that know that they are not alone. So that's why I'm sharing, even though I know that when people watch this, they're going to judge me. They're going to question why I'm even saying this on the internet and all the other things that come along with it. But I'm just going to do it anyways, because I don't care if I help one person and I let you know that you're not the only one. There are many people that have gone through this. Just go and, listen to stories and find some inspiration and make it your own journey, make it your own path, create it for you. It's like a perfectly fitting outfit that you can sew and hem and put any thread, any material that you want, any shape that you want, show as much skin as you want. Don't show skin, don't show your face. Whatever fits for you and your life, whatever makes sense to you, it's possible for you to create that despite my experience, despite your parents' experience, despite his, hers, they, what. Look for what resonates to you, okay? Yeah, I started off with pills, and then I did that for a long time. And then I think that I even started doing Xanax after that. And then after that, I did mescaline. Mescaline is a type of psychedelic. It's a cactus. And it pretty much, I have never done, that was the first time I've ever done it. So I'm not really too well versed in that specific category of psychedelic. But that definitely was the first time that I ever saw something physical moving. I immediately fell in love with the fact that what I was watching wasn't real, but it was real to me. And then I began exploring with LSD, and that got real. I have done some stuff. Wow, that was a lot. How I'm alive? I don't know. So this was the first time that I ever experienced frequency. And what I mean by that is every single time that I was tripping on LSD, the weirdest things would happen. We saw some guy at an eating thing. It was a Colombian place. It's called The Dogs in Spanish. If anybody's from Miami, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we saw this guy, and I don't know why we had our attention on this guy, and we were laughing or something like that. And I think that the guy noticed that we're talking about him, and he definitely did not like it. He got really upset. And 3 days later, my best friend hits me up, and she's like, oh my God, you will never believe. My brother got in a car crash, and guess who the guy was? The guy that we saw at The Dogs. Things like that. And then if I would think something and I would be thinking about something, then all of a sudden, like, a billboard comes out, and it was my answer. And it was very strange. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why is that? I just started questioning everything that I knew. I started looking at people differently. So what LSD pretty much does is take away the filters that you already have, the subconscious programmings that we have and all these things. It just wipes it out, and you no longer know the rules of society. You instead question them. For example, something as I know I shouldn't have been driving. I'm aware I shouldn't have been driving, so shut up. We were at a stop sign, a stoplight, and there was nobody coming. And I was just sitting there, and I was so upset that I had been sitting there for like 3 minutes and nobody came. And the fact that the light was red for so long and I had to sit there and listen to a light really pissed me off. And then I started doing it at school. I was already aware that school was dumb, but this hit different. This hit different. I remember sitting down listening to the morning announcements, and it was such bullshit. Why do I care? What is this? Like, what? It was like the bells. I have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. Everybody just looked like robots. I felt like I was in a prison. I would look at the school food, like the lines for the food, the trays, what they were feeding us. It just all looked so disgusting. The lighting, the artificial lighting, the lack of windows, the lack of fresh air, the lack of humanity, the lack of care, the lack of enthusiasm from our teachers, the lack of everything in 4 walls was crazy. It was beyond me. I hated it. I hated school. Then I immediately turned that into kind of anger and frustration. I felt stuck. I felt stuck in a society that was constructed for me, and I was born here and I'm forced to follow it. I had a friend that I could talk to this about because me and her started to trip. Not the healthiest, tripping with somebody consistently because you start like meshing brains and stuff got weird, to say the least. But I had somebody to talk to. I didn't feel alone during this process, and I'm really glad that I had her beside me to experience what we both experienced together, even if both of our experiences had their differences because she's a different person than I am. But besides that, I really started to come into my own. I started to question why I dressed the way that I dressed. Like, why did I choose the colors that I chose? Who was Linda inside? Like, really, not who the world was telling me to be. I had this one trip that I was really mad at my parents for everything that they had done to me. Not done to me, but all the things that we all experience together as a family. I think things can be done better if a parent goes through a healing journey and faces their demons and then has a child. It's really difficult growing up with a parent that's facing their demons because they don't understand that this is your foundation. Essentially, I didn't know any of these things back then. This is all purely of like instinct, downloads, and everything that came with LSD. I felt really sad because I had been so judgmental because they would ask me questions. I was already a lost cause. So when they try to get me back into reality, into what was going on and into this, I took it as like, you suck, shut up. And then I started realizing that I was a hypocrite, and everybody's a hypocrite. I feel like that's the biggest thing that I got from, I think, that trip is that I was complaining about something, but then doing it as well. I would say things and I would do things, but then I would reflect on my own actions and I'd be like, damn, like I'm the same as you, you're the same as I. And even though that they're doing things a certain way, they're doing it because they care and they're my parents. And that just made me bawl. I just started bawling. I was like, oh my God. I just felt so much love in my heart. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm so terrible. And then I realized that I was freaking out for something that happened in the past and something that's not going on right here. And I had the sunlight, I had air conditioning, I had clothes on my back, I had food I can eat, I can reach out and text them I love you. Everything was Gucci, but I was here crying about something that was not happening at the moment. And then I started laughing because I was like, wow, like human beings are so ridiculous. We sit around and we cry and we complain and we live in an experience that's not right in front of us and we hold on to it so tightly. And I just thought it was funny. Like, we're just so silly if you really look at us without emotions and really observe the facts and look at it like a story. Like, if we were watching us from a third person perspective and didn't like had no connection emotionally to any of us, I think we'd all be laughing at the stupidity. I'm sorry. It's just stupidity. We're such smart creatures, but we just do silly things. Like, why am I crying for something that happened, like, I don't know how long ago? Like it's okay. Things could change. And then after that, I started slowly just really being in tune with the earth. I loved tree leaves. I loved them swing. I loved looking at the trees. I loved that when sometimes I would walk my dog, like I started noticing that the leaves would caress me, and I just loved the dirt. I just fell in love, more in love, because I already loved the nature, but I just loved it so much more. I saw so much appreciation with it. I loved asking and talking to the wind and listening to the wind and the pressure of the wind. And slowly but surely, I found myself believing in something that wasn't there, because you have to experience it for yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to get it. It's explaining to you something that could be simply a placebo effect, or that could be totally skewed. But the way I see it is that it's all interconnected. And time again, the universe, spirit, your deities, your angels, whatever it is that resonates with you, if you focus on your connection with them, it gets stronger. Obviously, my connection was definitely based on drug abuse, but that was pretty much my spiritual awakening. And from then on, it's a whole journey. This is the longest journey, and I don't think it's ever going to stop, to be honest. I'm not mad about that. But eventually, I tripped so many times that one day I sat down and I was like, I think I've thought about everything. I was like, I need to put action behind my thoughts, because there's nothing else to think about. There's nothing else to question. I tripped so many times that my epiphanies, there was none. There are none. I feel like if I were to do the same thing now, I would definitely have way more epiphanies, because I did work. And I worked on myself. I started meditating. I started journaling. I started reading. I started diving into paganism, reconnecting with my ancestral roots. I very much believe in past lives now. I very much believe in dreams and prophecy. I don't know if I believe in astral projection. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a type of person to believe in anything unless I experienced it for myself. And man, I almost astral projected, but I got really scared. But I don't know if I fully can tell you, yeah, astral projection, bro, it's like so real, bro. Like, did you know, like, the government has like papers on it? Like, I'm aware of all of it, but I feel like until I start astral projecting myself, I'm not going to be on the same wavelength as anybody. Because an example is people who claim to see objects while tripping on acid or LSD. Bro, never in my life have I ever seen anything that physically, like a penguin or like a donut, or I don't know. I've done it way too many times that I care to admit, and I've never seen that. So I believe that some people might, but maybe I'm just never going to experience it, and it's a little questionable at best, considering how many times I've done the deed. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the girl who has never orgasmed and doesn't believe that it's real. Anyways, that's my origin story. LSD. That's how I started believing in the divine. That's how I started connecting with the earth. That's how I started just researching the moons, astrology, and observing these things for myself. Don't ever just go out and like do things just because so and so is doing it and so said so and so. You know, I promote journaling because journaling really helps me. I promote meditation because babe, it works. I don't want you to stop eating meat per se, but I definitely think that you should incorporate more veggies and fruits into your diet. That would be magnificent. It's going to help with your depression. Why do I say that? Because I went through it. I was queen of depression. Why? Because I was numbing myself. I numbed myself for so long. After the whole acid trip, I kind of went back into pretending that I didn't know what I knew. And I would read here and there, but I was not living in my truth. And it wasn't until, was it a breakup? I think there was a lot of things. I think that my breakup was what launched me into, I gotta get this together because this is everywhere. My life is everywhere, and it's just not okay. So I think that's when I started to do what I do today, which is a lot. of spiritual work. I love spirit. Thank you so much for watching my video. Again, I'm not saying this to encourage anybody to go out there and do LSD. I don't think that you should do that. I don't think everybody's fit. I have witnessed people lose their why I didn't lose my I think my theory is because I'm a very grounded person. Even if my thoughts were telling me something, I would question my thoughts and I'd be like, where did that come from? Why did I say that? Why do I think that? Why do I believe that? And yeah, and even if like I felt out of reality for a little bit, because once I thought I died, but I was about to leave my house in a towel. And then I was like, yo, if I'm not really dead and I exit the house naked, wet, barefoot, in a towel, and go to my car to get something, it's not a good look, dog. I look crazy. So, you know, I got dressed. I looked like a normal person, but I totally thought I was dead. Like, I did. I thought I was dead. But, yeah, then I stopped tripping, and I was like, damn, yo, I thought I was dead. Like, what a dumb... That's my story, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not be the person that I am today without my experiences. And I think that I walked that path because I like to think myself as a phoenix that rose from the ashes. I am definitely a person that considers myself like a dark angel. If you've ever seen Handmaid's Tale, she's a dark angel. She's not afraid to do what needs to be done in order to correct what's wrong and like deals with all the darkness. I don't resonate that much with people that are just super bubbly, and it's nothing against them. It's just I like horror films. I like transmuting that energy. I don't know. I came from the dark. I hope that everything I just said made sense. Take only what you need. Never more, never less. Don't be greedy, bitch. Bye.